At dusk, Jungkook, a dominant businessman and a husband of a 6 month pregnant woman, stood before her in the kitchen. He looked at her with helplessness as she again wanted him to test her pregnancy cravings with some weird combinations of food. In the beginning, he had tested it with pleasure, but after that, gradually he himself became a scapegoat to taste each of her weird combinations. Vine smiled widely at him, holding up a peanut butter and mustard sandwich, a strange combination that she wanted him to taste. Vine, just try it. He looked at the peculiar food on her hand, feeling a mix of helplessness and concern for his birds. He sighed, looking at the sandwich and seeing the smile on her face and the hope in her eyes. He knew there was no way he could get out of this without eating it. He took a breath and prepared for the next few minutes. He took a bite, trying to force it down despite the strange combination of flavors. He chewed and swallowed and put a smile on his face, trying to find something to say that sounded encouraging. Jungkook, it's different and interesting, he said. He tried to smile but couldn't stop himself from grimacing a little. The combination of peanut butter and mustard was definitely not something he would have thought to try. But she was too excited about it. Jungkook, did you really think I would want to eat this? He questioned, giving her a toothed smile, not wanting to hurt her feelings. She nodded, giggling to herself at his reaction. Pregnancy cravings were a strange thing, and hers had been especially strange lately. Wine. I told you it's gonna taste amazing. It's called a peanut butter and mustard sandwich. And I'll have, it's actually delicious, she said. He chuckled, rolling his eyes theatrically as she said it. Jungkook, yeah, of course, he said with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. She looked at him, a pout on her face, a sudden change again. Why? Can we get a pizza now? I'm craving it, she said, her tone hopeful and pleading. He couldn't help but let out a small scoff as he saw the sandwich in her hand. Jungkook, you made it and didn't even take a bite of yourself and make me taste it, he asked in disbelief. Wine, but now I don't want it, she said proudly. I want pizza. He couldn't help but laugh slightly at her sudden craving for pizza. Jungkook, really? Not a minute ago, you were begging me to try your sandwich, whom you didn't even took a bite. She crossed her arms, looking down at him with a determined expression. Wine. Yes, really, I am suddenly craving pizza now. She insisted, still not taking a bite of her sandwich. Can we order some? Jungkook, anything, huh? He said, shaking his head. All right, pizza it is. But no more of these weird pregnancy cravings for a while. All right, my queen. She giggled at his words, happy that she always got what she wanted. Wine, thank you, honey, she said, giving him a big smile. I need that pizza right now. Jungkook, all right, he said with a laugh, grabbing his phone from the counter. I will order it right away. He froze when he saw the tears welling up in her eyes, panic setting in instantly. Jungkook, sweetheart, what's wrong? What happened? He said immediately, his tone filled with concern and worry. Ryan, I suddenly feel like I'm always disturbing you, she said, her voice cracking slightly as the tears began to fall. I know I am being dramatic, but I can't help it. He let out a heavy sigh, realizing that the emotional mood swings that often come with pregnancy were starting to affect her again. He put down his phone and moved closer to her, concern on his face. He took her hand in his. Jungkook, darling, you're not disturbing me, he reassured her, his voice warm and steady. You are just being extra hormonal right now because of these pregnancy hormones. She sniffed, trying to compose herself, but the tears kept coming. Man, but I can't help it, she said, looking down at her swollen belly. Jungkook, you are never a disturbance in my life, he repeated gently, his finger tenderly caressing her tear-filled cheeks. You end this pregnancy, he added, his eyes softening as he looked at her pregnant belly. I cherish all of it, even the hormones and mood swings. She sniffed and chuckled slightly at his words. Man, I am really being emotional, or not I? She said, feeling grateful for his understanding and patience. She moved closer to him, resting her head on his chest. He wrapped his arm around her, holding her close, his chin resting on the top of her head. Jungkook, it's okay, I can handle, and I know these hormones are no joke, he said, gently rubbing her back. Why? Why are you always patient? You barely get some interest because of my mood swings and craving, she said, snuggled close to him, feeling comforted by his warmth and presence. I am always patient because I love you, he replied, his voice soft and affectionate. And as for me not resting, I can handle it. I am not made of glass, plus, I love taking care of you, especially in this state. She looked up at him, her eyes sparkling in the dim light. Man, you really are too good to me, she said, feeling a wave of affection for him. She smiled, suddenly feeling better now that he was there comforting her. He chuckled at her compliment. Jungkook, I am just doing what any good husband would do, he said, gently tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Taking care of you and our little one. She closed her eyes, feeling calm and safe in his embrace. The emotional turmoil had passed, and she was once again feeling grounded and love again. When, how do you always know what to say? She murmured, opening her eyes to look up at him. He smiled down at her, his eyes filled with affection. Jungkook, it's not about what to say, darling, he said softly. It's about knowing you, understanding you, and loving you. I have spent years learning your moods and quirks, and it comes naturally now. She blushed slightly at his words. Man, you are too good, she repeated, feeling incredible fortune to have such a loving husband. She snuggled even closer to him, burying her face in the crook of his neck. Jungkook, and you are the best wife, he teased back, tightening his arms around her. Now let's order that pizza, shall we? I have a feeling you'll have at least two servings. She laughed, giving him a playful spat on the arm. When, hey, I am pregnant and hungry, she protested, although the smile on her face betrayed her true feeling. I have deserved extra serving. He chuckled at her and pulled her closer, their bodies pressed against each other. He leaned down and planted a soft kiss on her forehead, his lips lingering for a moment against her skin. She let out a content sigh, feeling his warm breath on her face, and seemed so lost in each other that they forget that poor sandwich